Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Okay, I'm Sam from Malaysia, and I will be your host tonight. Well, since everyone is here, we should get started. Let me introduce our speaker. He is Mr. Rauf from Singapore. Tonight, he will share with us how and why you should invest in US real estate. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rauf.
Hi Sam. Hello. Hi everyone. My name is Rauf here. I'm from Noble Sky International. I come from Singapore, and I'm really excited and very privileged to be here at Summit International, Summit Asia's training and online training. And I am looking forward to meet and present exactly what I have been experiencing for the last 6 years of my life. Amazing 6 years learning about how it is possible for an Asian, someone out of the US, not even from America, to be able to be successful and to excel in the world of US real estate. I've been involved in the world of US real estate for the last 6 years, in fact, since 2014. And I've been very much learning a lot about how it is possible to be profitable, to be able to invest securely, safely in American real estate, and how it is possible that even I can help other investors do the same thing for themselves. For the last few years, in fact, since 2018, I ventured beyond just helping myself and my own circle of friends or families to invest in the US. I've actually ventured into assisting other students, whereby I actually run events and workshops to show, to teach students, potential students who's looking at the US real estate market as an alternative source of income for themselves, and also to be able to power up their investment for themselves because they're just too sick and tired of whatever earnings that they're getting from the bank. And even if they're not investing in the bank, they might be investing in something like the stock market, but because of the volatility and everything else that's going on in the stock market, they're just they're very wary about investing there. So they're looking at something a lot more safe, a lot more secure, a lot more stable. and I realized that US real estate is a perfect avenue for them. And I'm here tonight to explain the same thing to you and how it is possible for you to do the same thing for yourself. Okay, now without further ado, I'm going to share my screen quickly. All right, so I hope you are able to see my screen. Let me just position. Okay. Okay, so Noble Sky International was founded since 2014, and what I have been involved in for the last few years was to, as I mentioned earlier, was to show how this model works for foreign investors outside the US who lives in Indonesia, who lives in Singapore, who lives in Malaysia. I explained to them the concept of investing in the US safely, how it is pertinent to themselves as a foreign national, not as a citizen or resident of the US, and what to do, what to look out for, and how they're able to make profit even by not needing to fly over to America. As you can see, I am not American. I'm from Singapore, and I love the concept of investing in real estate. However, in my own home country, Singapore mainly, right, investing in real estate is very prohibitive. It is so expensive. It requires a lot of loans, a lot of debt that I have to take on just to be able to acquire property. And that's not something that I enjoy. To be able to buy one property, I have to take a debt out by taking a loan, and then up to 70–80% loan to value, pay a lot of duty to the government, a lot of tax. And all this cost me my profitability to lower, and I don't enjoy that. And then I can probably get one, maybe two, but beyond that, it's tough. So I decided to venture further out by looking at the world of the US, right? So that's where I enjoyed and found my footing, and I found my sweet spot, and here I am explaining to you to do the same thing, okay? So essentially, I want to share you 3 secrets here on how real estate in the US can benefit you. First secret is I'm going to show you how it is possible to acquire properties at just 20–30% of the market value in America. And I'm saying that clear cut, 20–30%. There is no loan involved. There's no need for you to pay the remaining 70–80% of the value that you didn't pay. This is possible by being able to buy properties in the US because of the unique nature of US tax law, that we're able to buy these properties just 20–30% of the market value. Now, if there's something that interests you, hang on and I'll show you exactly what's secret number 2. This is how, even if you're able to buy those properties cheap, at the same time, you're going to discover how we can 10x your returns, especially if your returns are just 2–3% a year. Now, this is important. Our money can just be sitting in a bank and just be earning 1%, 2%. Maybe in India might be higher, but I believe your money can be performing at a much better rate, at a lot faster velocity of returns. So this is where I'm going to explain to you how you're going to figure out how to at least 10x your returns if your returns are just 2–3% a year. And last but not least, how you can start with 7 simple steps for yourself. And even it's really quite simple, but there are some things that I will explain along the way, okay, that I'm here and show you how I can guide you. Okay, so these are the 3 secrets that I will be sharing with you tonight. So these are the things that we will cover as well. I will introduce you to Noble Sky and myself when I founded the company, and into the world of US real estate, and then probably how US real estate compares to your own country locally. And then, as I said earlier, the 3 secrets. Then I'll share with you some case studies, because this is proof in the pudding, right? You want to really see proof of, hey, does this work? Or am I saying what I'm saying as how it should work? Okay, yes, I'm going to show you proof later on. And then at the end of the whole thing, there will be a workshop that I'm going to explain to you how the workshop can benefit you and how you can take the next step into expanding your horizon, into expanding your world of US real estate. Okay, so if there's only one thing that you can take away, and this is what I want you to take away from, okay, from this particular next 1.5 hours, it is learning how to make money on the buy, not when you sell. This is how American investors, savvy American investors, always do. They are always focusing on this. They always need to make money when they buy, not when they sell. Okay, so if I can show you and explain to you later on, this one thing that you need to take back, which is learning how to make money when you buy the property, not when you sell. And before I start, I just want to let you hear a testimony from one of our own investor from Singapore. He's also from Poland. So just listen to him and he'll give you a bit of an idea of who you're dealing with in terms of Noble Sky.
I'm
Janie. I am an owner of an agency back in Singapore, a real estate agency. I lived in Singapore for 40 years, always wanted to get involved in the US real estate, but I didn't know how. So when I met Rauf back in Singapore, he gave me the skeleton or the outline of how to do it. But I think when we came up to Bali, then I met all his counterparts in the US, and it was a very straightforward, open sharing session. So I think it answered a lot of questions which I had in my mind, and it gave us a lot of confidence. We now know exactly who we're going to deal with in the US, and we have a lot more confidence and knowledge now. So if you want to invest in the US, this is the place to go to.
Okay, so that's Mr. Richard Janey. I want to show you a bit about what he has done thus far. Okay, he's a KEO. He owns a real estate agency in Singapore, and right now he has invested in 2 projects. One project in New York, another project in Florida. So this is just his property project in New York. So take a look. There are 4 properties that he acquired. Okay, and his own capital that he partake in this particular investment with, because he and a group of them came together to form an entity in the US, and the entire entity has $278,000 in capital. His capital contribution was $45,000. Now, take a look. The moment he invests in the company bought 4 properties in New York. The 4 properties has a combined value of $760,000, $760. Although they did not have $760,000 to pay for the 4 properties, what they did, okay, was in fact they paid a lot lesser than $200,000. They probably paid about $150,000, $160,000 just for these 4 properties. And from these 4 properties, they had a combined value of $760,000. So if you were to look based on the group capital contribution to the amount of property value, the growth is 273% portfolio value growth. So let me ask you, would you be able to find something in your own home country whereby you're able to, the moment you buy, your value 2x or 3x instantly? Okay, this is something possible with US real estate. When you buy properties at such a distressed value, the value does not disappear and then drop from 100% to that level. Okay, the property value remains at 100%. So this is where you will realize the beauty of investing in the US is being able to buy them cheap but still remain at 100% even when you bring this property to the bank. Now, granted, it might be, even if the property is not really rehab or renovated well, okay, it might lower the value, okay, but doesn't lower all the way down to 20% or 30%. It doesn't. Okay, so maybe just 10-20% discount. That's about it. But here you're seeing someone and a lot of others that we have been working with for the past few years who's able to grow their portfolio the moment they buy the property. And this is something I want to share with you how this is done safely, securely, and profitably for you. So I'm Rauf Syed, and I'm not going to bore you with my story. So I'm just going to share with you a very, very quick journey about how I started on this particular real estate investment. Those are my 2 kids, Leila and Yusuf. So the main reason why I'm building this business is for them. And I'm sure a lot of you are parents, so you're probably thinking of how you can secure your kids' education in the future, how you want to retire, what you want to provide for your family, do you want to travel? There's a lot of things that you're looking at. So the one thing that you might want to consider is probably US real estate, because US real estate is able, especially from what I understand, from people from India love to send their kids to the US to study. And if you want to send your kids to the US to study, maybe you have about 10 years down the road to send them, you can start investing now. At the end of 10 years, you can sell it off and pay for the university one shot. You don't have to worry about anything else. Okay, by the time the property in 10 years time, it would have appreciated in value and paid off by itself already by then. So you're able to pay off the uni just by selling one property. Trust me, that's something that a lot of people are already talking to me about. They want to do that for themselves. Okay, so I founded Noble Sky International since 2014, and I serve as a chief investment strategist, meaning I only look at investments. I don't look at anything else. And to date, we have about 300 investors across the world who has broken into the into the world of US real estate. And we have bought about 50 properties across the US in the span of just 2 years. These 50 properties were for our student investors, okay, people that we work with during class and workshops. And we've acquired and all those have been acquired at an average of 20% of market value. So I did not take any loan to buy these properties. So those properties we paid 20%, boom, you own the property one shot, okay? You don't have to worry about any other loans or whatever to think of. You just pay 20% and that's it. And back in 2014, I'm just going to fast forward a bit. Back in 2014, January 2014, in fact, I attended my very first US real estate workshop, a training, and it was in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Green Valley Rise Resort. So I actually decided to venture into a niche in US real estate called tax sale investment, as you can read here. Now, tax sale investment is a different niche in US real estate. There's many different niches of investing in the US, investing in real estate in the US. So one of the niche is tax sale investment. So I'm going to speak to you a bit about how tax sale investment work, because that's generally how we buy properties, most of them. We buy properties from tax sale auctions run by the government. So that's a beautiful thing to do. I love doing that because auctions are fun. And then being able to buy that at 20% of the value is even more fun. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works. Now, before I attended the particular workshop, I actually signed up for private coaching with the company that offered this workshop. So the private coaching and the workshop cost me 20,000 USD. 20,000 USD just to attend 3 days of workshop plus lifetime coaching. Well, frankly, the guy who taught me was not too bad. His name was Frank. He's standing right down there. He's a good trainer. He coached me. However, there was a problem. He's not a foreigner. He's an American. So when I have an American, he's telling me to go and find out by myself what I need to do to be able to be compliant with US laws, US tax law, IRS on my own. So in fact, it's better that I didn't pay $20,000 for this, because the workshop just cost a couple of thousand. I paid extra because I want to get the lifetime coaching. So I only used the coaching for about 3-4 months, and that's about it. I did not exactly utilize it as much as I would like to, okay, but that was what I paid for, $20,000. Now, over the span of the next, from 2014 all the way to today, what I learned on my own was a lot more valuable than I had from just one class. That one class I can teach someone in just 1 or 2 hours, okay, and I'm able to do that, okay. But there's the experience that I picked up over the last 6 years that is highly valuable, especially for a foreign national. And this is where I come from, whereby I'm very proud to say that I'm able to really guide and help someone who is a foreigner to access the US real estate market in a safe, secure manner, okay. So after the workshop, in January 2014, I flew back to Singapore, okay, because my kids were still very young there. I told myself I'm not ever going to miss them, their growing up years. And in February 2014, I flew back, and this time on the advice of my coach. He advised me to go to Houston, which is called Harris County in Texas. And from there, I decided to attend my first auction. But my first auction was a failure, because when I attended this auction, the problem was this. I was inexperienced. My company wasn't ready. I arrived 3 days before the auction. I didn't have time to finish my research. I didn't have time to drive to all the property. I didn't transfer my money on time. There was no bank for me to receive the money in the US. Company was a form. All these were things that inexperienced investor would have faced at the onset. So I didn't get all that sorted out. So the first auction was a total failure because I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready. Okay, and this was a big lesson for me. I need to be more prepared. So all I did for this first auction was to make an expensive trip, fly there, see other people win property, and then after about 10 days I was in Houston, I flew back to Singapore, right? Okay, and I told myself, no more. Second auction, I must win something. So second auction, I'm more prepared. I learned from the mistakes of the first auction, and I got everything prepared. So this time I flew in about 5 days before the auction starts. I recovered from jet lag. I went out to do all the drive-by, and I do all my research, color code my research into a Google sheet, and then everything was organized nicely. My company is formed, bank account formed, money transferred. I'm ready. I arrived early at the auction. So I was ready to attend the auction. I was looking at my iPad going through before the auction starts. And then I was going through, and then a white couple came to me and looked at my iPad with all the very highly organized, color-coded research done. And then they were asking me, intrigued with what I have, right? So they asked me, oh, so you went to all these properties? So I was being a nice guy. I shared with them, yes, I did. I went here. I should have the video. They were so surprised. Wow, had video, had pictures. They actually helped themselves to my iPad, start touching here and there. I was like, okay. Then I asked them, do you go to this property? I didn't have the time to go to one other property. She said, yeah, but I'm not going to share with you. But she was just stealing my information, but asking for her, she decided to keep it to herself. So then I realized, oh my gosh, I just got myself screwed over. Okay, so then because I didn't want to cause a commotion, I was like, oh, okay. I said, no problem. I wasn't interested anyway. So then someone else came to my side, okay, because they were interested in my research. Someone else looked at my research and started helping themselves. Before that, I had a groupie of about 4 to 5 people around me, looking at my data, helping themselves to the data. And then before I know it, auction starts. Every single one of them brought more money than I did and outbidded me for every single property. I was like, oh my God, I just got betrayed and stabbed in the back. Not even in the back, in the front. He just stabbed me in the front. I was like, okay, so all these people outbidded me. They had more money than me. So they know what's my max. So they just outbidded me by 1 or 2 level. And then they won the property. I won 0. So second auction, fail. Major failure. I was so angry. I went back to the hotel. I was wondering what happened to myself. What just happened? I was asking that. So I spent the next few days in Houston, sulking. And I went back to Singapore because I had a return ticket, right? And then this time I fly back into the US, okay, in April 2014. And this time I learned my lesson from the first 2 auctions. No more being Mr. Nice Guy. Be ready, be prepared, everything all done well. So this time I arrived early, did all my research, everything done. Arrived at the auction on the day itself, arrived early, didn't talk to anybody. I didn't want to talk to anyone at all because I know someone's going to rip me off. So I just kept to myself and stick to my guns. And then guess what? I won something. Finally, I third auction, I won. And that's where I heave a sigh of relief because finally I got it. And when I won, I went in front, make payment to the property. So that was me. Okay, my partner took a picture of that and we were celebrating and we won. So that was my first property. In fact, I won 4 for one auction. 4 condominiums. 4 condominiums. And it was beautiful, okay? Because I paid only $28,000 for the condominium. So in other words, one condominium, $7,000. So it's like, $7,000 for one condominium. I was like scratching my head at that point. I was in disbelief. Did I just want 4 condos paying only $7,000? I was like, is this true? Is this real? It is. In fact, I got the deed to the property about a month later. It's like, wow, it's true. It works. It really works. And the best part was that this condominium was not like a luxury condo, but it's for blue collar workers. It's right 5 minutes from the airport. And the people that rent the condo are blue collar workers. They work in the airport, they work in the Walmart. So they just needed a cheap place to stay. So these are blue collar income workers. And they rented from me. I paid $28,000, but every month they give me $3,000. So I did my math. I spent a bit on renovation. By the time I break even, 18 months. Okay, I don't have any other property in Singapore that can break even in 18 months. This, I was able to break even 18 months. No way am I selling this. I want to keep it. Okay, so I kept it because if you are sharp, you realize I made 4 trips to the US already by now. And every trip costs a lot of money. It's not buying property in my backyard. I had to fly all the way to Houston, 30 hours trip, back and forth. Okay, with all the layover in Beijing for 10 hours, 8 hours. It was crazy. I didn't enjoy that. I had to buy the cheapest ticket possible, right? So, and then I said, I'm desperate for cash flow. I needed income at that point in time. So I'm glad God answered my prayer. So I got cash flow and I had the money coming in. Okay. And then by that time, when I got the 4 properties, now I became a bit greedy. I said, okay, I want some more. I looked at my money, how much money I had left, cash, not including the debt. I incurred a lot of debt over the past 4 months that time. I had a lot of money, the loans and all that, the credit card, I just swiped, right, without planning. But I only saw 10,000. I only left with $10,000 and that's all I had left. So this time, okay, I want to buy 1 more property. I don't care, but no more Houston. I want to go, okay, because nothing enough, right? I want to go to San Antonio, which is a hot market. People are telling me San Antonio is the best place to go. So I flew in, drove to San Antonio. And this time, I only brought the following one in May 2014. I brought $10,000 to buy something in San Antonio. It was a bad move. It was never something you should do yourself because too little. The money is just too little for you to do anything, right? So I was stubborn. I was new. I was green. I had 4. Now I want to add 5. So this time I arrived at the auction, okay? And whatever I want to buy, whatever I want to bid for, I got outbidded because I had too little cash, too little capital to fight at the auction. It wasn't effective. So what happened was, after all the property I shortlisted, when overbidded or outbidded, I was outbidded for them. I was frustrated. Okay, I did not just fly 30 hours to San Antonio and going back to Singapore with nothing. I don't want that. I need to ensure that I get something. See, so I want something. Come on, and I was telling myself I need to win something. So what I did was I looked at the next upcoming auction list. Whatever property the auctioneer wants to auction off, I'm going to bid for that. So he mentioned the next property. I looked at the map. I went to Google Map. Oh, got property. Okay, I'm going to bid for this. Maximum bid 10,000, which is what I brought, right? 10,000. So I bid with someone. Yeah, I won it at 8,005. I got this. It was a major boo-boo. Okay, because what I bought was I didn't have any research. I didn't drive to this property. I just buy it out of impulse because of frustration. I was frustrated. This was what I bought. It was a house that had fire damage. So the fire caused, when I arrived at the property and I set foot on the curb, I looked at the property, I wanted to cry. My jaw dropped on the floor, and this was what I bought. Oh my God, what did I learn? Never ever buy property without research. This property had fire damage. So listen, if you want to buy anything, make sure you have driven to the property and seen the property before you decide to bid for it. And God taught me a big lesson here that I should never ever bid for anything without research. So this was one of the major lesson, and I cried. I wanted to cry. Actually, I cried. I went back to the hotel. I cried. Okay, I was with my partner and I was looking at it. What did we just buy? So what happened was, in fact, worst story was 3 days later, the county sent me the bill, tell me I need to demolish the property. I was like, oh my God, another problem. So I checked. The rate for demolition was $5,000. I don't have any money to pay $5,000 to demolish. But I had no money to pay all this. So, but I had a local advice. They said, don't worry, let the county demolish for you. They'll send you the bill, which is a lot lesser. So I did that. So the county eventually demolished the house for me. Okay, and they sent me about 2,000 plus in the bill. I paid for it, whatever money I can scrap. Then eventually I sold off the land. I sold the land for $8,000. I managed to recoup something, but I cut loss. So this was a cut loss moment for me. I cut loss. Okay, and I told myself, enough is enough. No more buying property without research. So this was a major lesson. So over the years, all I know is that I just want to spray myself in the face. Okay, and what did I learn? One, research. This is highly important. You have to do your research. Without research, you are going in blind. So you need to learn how research is done for properties in the US. US is a highly data-driven country. People from India love data. I understand. There's a lot of data that you can crunch and look through. And I will tell you, you're going to be amazed if it is something you're seeing for the first time. Okay? And location. The ugliest house on a pretty street will always beat the prettiest house on the ugly street. This is where it is important to know that your location is key. But what I bought earlier with the house that had fire was an ugly house on an ugly street. It was a double whammy. So don't do that. That's worse. That every expenses must watch. You must monitor every single expenses. And I learned this from experience. Okay, I'm not going to come to you from theory. I'm going to come to you from the position of experience. So the experience tells me every expenses counts because it goes into your profitability. So if you don't monitor for the expense, you don't know whether how profitable you are or not. And if you are sharp enough, as I said earlier, I made 4 or 5 trips by then. When I average the trip, I spent $15,000 US per trip. Every trip got 2 persons who fly in, and then I had to rent Airbnb. I got to rent a car. I got to pay for petrol. I have to take about 10 days worth of F&B, food and beverage. And it cost a lot of money. US is not that cheap, okay, to live there as a foreigner. So you have to take note of all these expenses. And when I started out, I just swiped my credit card and it just ballooned out of control. So that was not a wise move. I would never advise anyone to start off like that. And then you must have a ground team, your A team. Somebody on the ground must work with you or for you. So this is important. They will look after your interests. So I've been building my team for the last few years. And this is the group of team, the team that I have been building is people that I'm allowing my students to have access to as well. Okay, so it will make things a lot easier for them to invest or to have a business in America eventually. So, all right, Noble Sky International has grown and now have become morphed into an educational and real estate investment facilitation company. So what I'm trying to say is that we are not a fund manager, neither are we a property company selling you property. There's no property that Noble Sky is trying to sell to you. So in fact, you're not going to be buying any property today. You're not going to be looking at buying property from Noble Sky or investing your money in Noble Sky. None of that. Okay. So this is not who we are. And We help investors acquire properties in the US. In Noble Sky, we are registered in Singapore under Noble Sky Institute Private Limited, and in the US under Noble Sky Core LLC. And Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Cambodia are some of the countries we've gone to, including Myanmar as well. And now we're entering India. And we help you buy properties from government auctions, direct sellers, wholesalers, as well as set up your company, your structure for you in the US, okay? Because you need business structure to be tax effective, to ensure that you are able to invest in the US safely and securely and legally as well. So these are some of the pictures of our event in Singapore. This is we started off in Singapore, obviously. So we had 12 batches, or more than that, sorry, more than almost 20 batches of Singapore classes already today. And then this is in Jakarta. Our biggest class so far has always been in Jakarta. Jakarta is an amazing market for us. In Surabaya and Bandung in Indonesia. And in Malaysia. So we were in Kota Kinabalu, Kuala Lumpur, Johor Bahru, Penang, Kuching. These are some of the cities we've been to. In Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh, as well as Hanoi, we've been there as well. We run events and classes there. And then in Phnom Penh, we did in Cambodia. We did two cycles there, and then in 2 cycles in Bangkok as well. It's an amazing time. We had a great time in Bangkok. All right, so this let me show you some of our numbers. Oh, sorry, this before I go into that. This is the company Noble Sky Core, which provides all the services, all the research, all the management in the US, and Noble Sky Institute in Singapore that helps to teach and educate investors on how this is done for them safely and legally. Okay, and we rebranded under Noble Sky International. Our numbers thus far has been about 50 properties since July 2018. In fact, we are at our 2 years anniversary for students, not including private investors. And we paid $1.5 million US for all the 50 properties combined. And we bought them at 18% of market value because the value of all those properties is $8.5 million US. So imagine doing this for yourself, but you don't have to fork out $8 million or find a loan for $8 million. You pay $1.5 million, you get $8.5 million worth of property. How will that sound for you? How will that be for you in your portfolio of investment if you're able to, like example, buy Apple stock, which is called $400, for example, and you pay only $50 or $100 for the stock, but it's valued at $400. You will jump on it. So same thing here. The property costs $8.5 million. You pay $1.5 million for the property. Okay. So I'm gonna, at the end, I'm gonna be making you a very, very, very special offer that I've learned over the last many years on how to do this for yourself securely, safely, and legally. Okay, profitably as well. So it will give you everything you need to learn how to start a US real estate business safely, securely, and profitably with returns averaging more than 10x what you get from your other passive investments like fixed deposit, dividend stock, mutual funds. Okay, this is called Rescue 2.0. It is a workshop that I'm going to be explaining later on how the workshop will work. Okay, US real estate investing workshop, and the value that you're going to be learning is more than $20,000 US because I paid $20,000 US for myself for private coaching, but this is not a private coaching session, guys. This is showing you how the workshop will work for you. Whatever I have, I'm going to deposit to you as much as I can. You can grab all the info and knowledge that I've been and experience that I had over the last many years. Okay, and I'm going to be imparting to you over here during the workshop. So there'll be no holds barred. You'll get everything possible. Okay, so some of you will question, why am I here today? Mainly because I believe you might have a goal that you want to achieve, or you're just hungry for knowledge and you want to make the right decision. Either way, one of these likely apply to you. So which one applies to you? So you got to ask yourself why you're here today. Okay, so why people choose property compared to other investment form? The main reason why other investment form like fixed deposit or things like bonds or maybe even mutual funds, the returns are low. Even if you decide you're someone an expert in stock market, okay, the problem lies whereby the volatility in the stock market is just causing you to go mad, right? You just cannot wrap your head around what's going up, going down, going up, going down. Economy is doing bad, it's going up. Economy is doing well, it's going down. What is going on? You have no idea. You go enter forex, options, futures, everything's the same thing. It's go up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, that's the problem with volatility, and it's making it very uncertain for you. And you're not able to leverage. You can use margin and all that, but most of the time you don't really leverage in the financial instruments, and there's no control. The market decides whether it goes up or goes down. So that's why people choose property. But why I choose US property is because one of the market size. The market size of the US real estate market is $35 trillion US. 35 trillion with a T. is bigger than the entire economy of India, is it? Or China put together, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a lot. It's huge. There's a lot of inventory for anybody to buy properties in America. And it's a lot more, it can be a lot more affordable than your own local property. Trust me, it can be very affordable. I bought 4 properties for 7,000 each USD. Tell me, can 7,000 USD buy you any property in India? Likely no, okay? It's easy to acquire. We even use the internet to buy these properties. And you even own the land beneath the property. So this is something like many countries made it impossible. How can I own land when I'm not a citizen? In America, there's no restriction. The moment you buy the property, if it's a single family unit, the land belongs to you. That land is yours. Foreigner own US land. Yes, this is something possible. Okay. And the price to value ratio, like I said, the value is 100%, you pay 20%, that's all you pay for. That ratio is something I'm always looking for. I want the ratio. I want to pay as cheap as possible. I want to be a cheapskate in buying properties in America, not pay near to market value. That's not what I want to do. Okay, I want to show you how this is done. So secret one, let's go into it. How do we buy US real estate at just 20-30% of the market value? This is an example of how it might be for you if you use a bank loan in India to buy property. And usually maybe you pay 20% down payment and then 70% bank loan with the bank, whichever bank can give you, is 70% loan to value. And then hopefully if you're skilled enough, you can buy it at 10% discount. This is a typical scenario in many countries. Okay. Now, in what we do, maybe you pay 25%, maybe you pay 15%, maybe you pay 10, maybe you even pay 5. There are cases, maybe you pay 40, 50. But on average for us is 20%, and the rest of it is discount. And that's what I want you to look at. Okay, that discount is where we are always targeting. But where can we find that kind of discount to buy properties in the US? If you call an agent, they will not give you property that give you discount. There will not be any. The agent will be selling to you near to market value because they specialize in the home buyer, someone who wants to buy the property and live in it as your home. Now, for us, that's not what we do. That's not our market. We want to sell to them after fixing up the property, but where do we find this property where we can buy it really cheap? The answer is the US tax auction. Okay, the tax auction is where you find and buy all these properties. So here is how typically it will work. I'm simplifying it for you as much as possible so you have to understand, so you can understand better. Okay, understand this. In America, it's a huge country. The US is made up of 50 states. Okay, which is like California, Texas, Alaska, Florida, Georgia, New York. These are all states. Now, every state have their own county. They are made up of counties. Example, Florida is made up of Miami, Palm Beach, Duval, okay, Orange County, which is Orlando. California, you have Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, Santa Barbara, Riverside, San Bernardino, a lot, okay? Sacramento, so many. These counties form the state of California, and the states of California, Texas, and all form the United States of America. Now, when it comes to property tax law, in particular, property tax law is under the jurisdiction of the county government, okay? So in other words, the county government is in charge of enforcing property tax payment and collecting it from you, the property owner. So if you own a property within the boundary of, let's say, for example, Los Angeles County, okay, is where your property is located, situated in. You have the responsibility every year to pay property tax to Los Angeles County government. Failing to do so, Los Angeles County government has the right to take action against you. Okay, so the county collect that money for this purpose. Things like roadworks, hospital, firemen, policemen, teachers, schools, everything to maintain the community, to maintain the county. All these are funded. This costs money, right? It doesn't magically maintain by itself. It costs money to maintain, okay? And all these are funded by collecting property tax, mainly from collecting property tax. So you will see how important it is, especially now, whereby county must collect the tax from the property owner on time so that they are able to finance all these services in the community. The major problem is not every property owner can pay their tax on time. That is a problem in every part of the US, every part of the world. Okay, tell me, is there any one of you who's able to guarantee that you are the entire everyone in India is able to pay the tax on time? Confirm there will be no. All right, it will not be so. Okay, so there will always be a situation whereby someone will fall behind. They just cannot pay the tax because they don't have the money. Okay, in the US, they did statistics. The top 3 reasons why someone don't pay the tax. Reason 1, they died. Okay, reason 2, they lost a job, and reason 3, they had a divorce. And then some of them they went bankrupt and all that. Okay, but the top 3 reasons, they lost a job, they lost their life, they lost their love. So all this, okay, would form the main reason why a property tax goes unpaid. So the county will always not be able to collect the money from the property owner because someone either had that problem. So if they have the problem whereby the county cannot collect, now the property owner for that particular year of tax year is owing money to the county, but the county now have a deficit. Okay, so depends on the state, the enforcement is different. So example, let me show you an example of a typical state of how they might enforce the property tax. So they send a reminder to the owner. For year 1, you owe me $2,000. I cannot collect money from you for $2,000. That's why you owe me now. There'll be reminders and interest fee, late payments and all that. Second year, he falls behind. He didn't pay the tax. You just ignore it. It's too much money for him. He cannot find the money. Okay, there will be a lot of reasons why they don't pay. Maybe whatever the reason he didn't pay. Okay, and then the third reason, maybe he owe another 2,000. So this time for 3 years in a row, he didn't pay the tax. So the county government has been having a deficit from him and all the other property owner in the US, they didn't pay the tax. And on average, about 20 to 30% of property owners across the US will never pay their tax on time every year. So you come to about 30+ billion US dollars worth of unpaid taxes that the county government is trying to ask someone else to help and fill in the gap. Here comes us, the foreign investor. Okay, here comes anyone around the world with money. So in this particular case, for 3 years, the owner did not pay the tax. Correct? So depends on the state. So the law in this particular case, maybe this is the case in California, for example. The property enters foreclosure. California usually take about up to 5 years, but I'm just shortening it to 3, just for example. So now, for the last 3 years, okay, this property has been foreclosed upon by the government. The government told the owner, we cannot wait anymore. It is too long. You are not paying us the tax. We need the tax more than ever right now. There's so many things to pay for. So I need to collect the tax from someone else. So 3 years of grace period is gone, time's up. So now the total amount, it's not just 6,000, 2,003. No, it doesn't work that way. There are legal fees, interest, all the thing will pile up, right, will add up. And in this case, let's just round it up to 10,000 US. So the owner now owe the county 10,000 US dollars worth of unpaid taxes. Okay, that's the amount total owed by the previous owner. He has lost his house, doesn't have any more right to it. The county has foreclosed on the property now. And what happened is the county don't want the property, county wants money. So what they do, this property, along with all the many properties all across the county that didn't pay the tax over, for example, the last 3 years, all those properties will be collated together and auctioned off one time, or maybe over several auctions, doesn't matter. Okay, depends on what the procedures are. So in this case, the county auction of this property, starting price, 10,000 USD, 10,000 US. At the auction steps or online, normally we buy them online. So people look at the property, they do their research, and then they start bidding. So for example, we won this property for just 50,000 US. As you can see, an auction winner at 50,000 US dollars. But you will realize the market value of the property is 180,000. With the right knowledge, the right research, if you do this correctly, you're able to determine the real market value of the property. Now from there, after knowing the market value of the property, you'll be able to know how much it costs, how much profit you want to make, and all this will tell you what's your maximum bid price. So in this case, for example, his maximum could be 80,000, 90,000, but he might want it at $50,000. So he bought it at 50K, transfer the $50,000 to the county government, okay, receive the funds, confirm receipt of funds, send him the deed. You are now the new owner of this property. That's it, that's all. And guys, this is how we've been doing it so far. We've been buying property from auction like this, even more straightforward than this, without meeting anyone or any county government. Okay, we buy them online on auction site. And I want to show you an example of a property that we won on auction in the next slide. Okay, this is the time when we were in Manila for our investor. Our investor came from Jakarta and Phnom Penh in Cambodia. So we were in Manila while the property is in Jacksonville, Florida. So you see here, nobody is right there doing very traditional bidding for a property with a bidder card. No, we did everything online. I want to show you, take a look at this video and enjoy this video for a quick, well, a minute or so. It's a quick video. You see how we bid for the property online and how we won for it.
Something today. Come on. So cute.
Right, now we are finding the right time to enter and boom, we enter. Let's see the countdown timer.
And 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we won. Okay, so you saw that. Now this was bought online. Okay, we bought this property online. I want to show you the video and the next slide. So this was the property that we bought. It had a tenant inside. It was not too bad. The house was nice, and we bought it for $36,100 from the auction. Okay, no loans, nothing, for investors in other countries, and we were in another country buying property in the US. So this was the beautiful story behind this, right? Now, the other amazing part was the property, other properties, similar to this one, was selling for a lot higher than what we paid for. They were selling for $155,000, $108,000, $130,000, $136,000. We paid $36,100 for the property. So now even the investor is considering, should I keep the property and just let it appreciate, or can I just sell off, make the profit? They were considering. So because there's a tenant inside already. So this was the investor that bought it. Okay, he's from Jakarta, Yulis Wijaja. So he invested about $30,000 of his own money, and the property valued $105,000. The other 6,000 plus a few other rehab costs came from the other investor in Phnom Penh. So not too bad. I think they enjoyed the win and they liked the buy. So they were like, whoa, okay, now they're even investing a lot more. Okay. So that's how we buy properties at 10 to 20 to 30% of the market value. It's nothing complicated. It's buying from government auction. If you buy from government auction, you're able to buy them cheap. So that's the beauty of buying from government auction, and we love doing that. Okay, we do that all the time. In fact, we are specialists in that. Okay, so secret 2 is how to 10x if your returns are just 1 to 3% a year. If they are paltry 1 to 3% a year, you're just making money from bank interest. In Singapore, it's less than 1%. I'm not so sure how much is it. I know in India it's a lot higher. The exact number I don't have. Okay, so maybe someone can just type it in. All right. So how do you 10x if your return just 1 to 3% a year? So I want to explain to you this part. We can do rental, we can do flip, and we can even do things like Airbnb. So I want to show you a rental example for this property in Jacksonville, Florida. This property, with all rehab expenses and the acquisition costs will come to $86,400. But the property has a market value of $145,000. So that's not too bad. When you buy the property cheap, it's really, you can get it really cheap. But when you put in some expense, then you probably pay about 50-60% of the market value. Now, based on that, if you were to pull out your rental, you can make up to $12,000 a year and earn your rental ROI of 13.89% on this particular property. Not too bad. I think it is quite good. Maybe in India, you might be able to do something similar. Okay, but I believe if you continue and wait, you will see a lot more better returns in my other. This is just my first one. And that's the deed to the property. You will get the deed if you win the property from the auction. Okay, your company in particular. So that's the deed titled to the company itself, the name of the company on the deed. This is another property in Newberry, a strong rental market. And the property has a total market value of $275,000. So you can buy this property for market value, or you can learn how to buy them cheap. So we buy them cheap, and then total expense $195,000 because of all the rehab and everything. The annual rental income is $33,000, about 16.92% rental ROI, which is quite good, I feel. And for every dollar, you get back $16.92 every year. Okay, that's every dollar you invest, $16.92 every year that you get back. So these are the deeds to the property, because the deeds will be issued by the government themselves to you, and then you receive the deed to the property for the 4 properties in this case. This is an Airbnb case study. You can get properties that are located in strategic areas, in tourism areas, in travel areas, and then you can put it up on Airbnb. In fact, this was the property that I got, the condo. It cost me $7,000 to buy. I bought it with my partner and current CEO of Noble Sky, and we spent about almost $20,000 on the property to buy the property, right? Because we fix it up to make it red, to put in all the furnishing, to put all the furniture, and so on and so forth. But it was money well spent, because the Airbnb income, I'm being very conservative and modest here, it's $12,000. In fact, it's a lot more. Sometimes during like peak season, New Year and Christmas, it can get up to $2,000 to $3,000 a month just for that particular year alone. So the ROI is 60% ROI because of the rental income we get from Airbnb. And this is Sarah, the CEO of Noble Sky. She did it with me at that point in time, and she designed all this. This is not my design. Please don't think this was my design. She designed all this while she was in Singapore. Not too bad, right? And I think we did very well, and it was doing very well on Airbnb. So the thing I want to share here is this: her portfolio value growth when she bought the property was tremendous. A 325% portfolio value growth. Own capital contribution just $20,000. The value $65,000. In fact, we got 4 of this. So it had 300% portfolio value growth the moment you buy. Okay, and this is what I want you to experience, guys. I want you to experience this, being able to grow your portfolio the moment you buy it, not have to wait many years for it. This is a flip study, a case study for flipping. I want to show you how we flip the property, and later on some of the examples, I'll show you more pictures. If I show a lot of pictures and all the before and after, it will take a long time. I don't want to take too much of your time, okay? All right, so this is a property in Colombia that we bought, and we bought it for $42,000. We fixed it up for $30,000. The expenses and everything comes to about $77,000 total. The equity that we gain when we buy the property, because we didn't pay for it, right? It becomes free equity, free paper money, is $58,000. But we sold it for $128,000. And the flip ROI is 60.15%. 60.15%. And I believe this is amazing. Okay, 60% is good. It's like, wow, okay, I cannot think of 60% anywhere else that is safe like property. Okay, this is somewhere that I want to explain to you this is possible. That's the deed to this property. When we got the property, the quick claim deed from the county government. Okay, and this is the property where we got it right earlier, and that's the sale, the contract sale that we got it for. Who bought the property from us? Okay, and the signature and how much we sold it for, $128,000, as you can see there. I'm not so sure whether you can see from your screen. I apologize if you are not able to see, but as you can see, there is $128,000 on the contract price, and that's the amount that we sold the property for, 60% returns. This is another property in New York. One of it belongs to Mr. Richard Jenny earlier, and Mr. Jenny is one of the investors here, I mean. So the value of this property is a lot higher than many others, about $236,000. But we make it a quick flip whereby we spend about close to $110,000 on the rehab, acquisition, and miscellaneous expense. As you can see here, the breakdown. The equity gain is 126,000, but we sold it for 188K, a flip ROI of 58.51% for the investor. Listen, I put it $1, I get back $1, I got back $1.58.51. That's what he got back. Okay, this is the money that he get back. This is the deed to the property. And this was when we got and acquired the property at that point in time. When we acquired, it looks like that. The ceiling, you see the center picture, the ceiling caved in. It was like, whoa, okay, but actually it's not a big deal. Just patch back up the ceiling and then fix it up. This is fine. It's not really that complicated. Okay, and then we fix it up. This was what it looks like when we knock it out, demo the property out. Okay, and then we replace a lot of stuff in the house. And this was what it looked like when we listed out. Okay, when we listed and then we sold it off for the money earlier. This is the offer. Okay, where we got it. And we're now in contract and we have still sold off this property for $188,000 for this property. Okay, it's not too bad. And I think 58% ROI is still great. It's amazing. And I just enjoy that kind of returns, especially if my investors make it. Okay, because we guide them and then they make the money. So it's like, it is really fulfilling for me, especially. This is another case study in Florida. Okay, in Florida, where we bought the property, $190,000 value for this property. The rehab, the acquisition cost is $71,000. It's a bit more expensive because a lot of people were bidding for this property. So what we want to win, we won it. And then total expense about $103,500. Equity gain $86,500. Sale price $165,000, a 69.08% ROI. This is not too bad. I think we can. I know we can do better. We can sell better because I believe you can sell it for $185,000, $190,000. But because there was already an offer, I was trying to think, should I wait for it to be able to get a higher amount, or should I just go for this guy who wants to buy it now? So we just like, let's not wait, let's cash it up. Don't be greedy. 69% is still good numbers. Just get out and sell to someone. Just make the money back, take the money back, and then do something else, right? That was what we decided to do. That was the deed when I acquired the property. Okay, if you can see here, $71,000 is over there. And when we acquired the property, it looks like this. It looks like a haunted house. Okay, some of you can go there and live there if you want to. When we acquired this at that point, then we fix it up. This is what it looks like when we fix it up. And then this was what it looks like when we sold it off. When we staged the property. Staging means I put furnitures in the house and everything. So it looks, when the buyer comes to the house, they can imagine what the house will look like for themselves. So that was what we did. Okay, and this property sold for the purchase and sale agreement, the buyer and seller, the address. There's the seller, which is the company that the investors own. That's about $165,000. Well, okay, I think we enjoy it. By doing 69%, boom, that's it. Okay, and the investor was just too happy. And that's our signature. And one of the investors, this guy. Okay, he didn't invest much. He invested a small amount, in fact. He participate in the properties that we own in Jacksonville. We bought about 9 properties for that group, and his only capital contribution was $5,000 USD, and his entire group put about $463,000, and they have a value of 1.021 million. So he had a 220% portfolio value growth. So you see on the low spectrum, somebody can invest as little as 5,000. To a high spectrum, someone invests 40, even a few $100,000. We have them, so you can have both spectrums. All right. So either way, it's up to you. First, you need to learn how this is done first. Once you have a good understanding, a good knowledge on how the investment in the US works, then you can choose to decide to invest and start. All right. Next part I want to cover is this question a lot of people ask me. It's not the right time. It's not the best time. Everybody's asking me this question. America is going through a lot of a mess. Donald Trump is becoming a bit of a clown, right? Nobody knows what he's thinking. Why he's governing the country that way? They had riots. They had coronavirus is out of control, and they just cannot seem to have a good grasp of what's going on or be able to control the country well. And then, but for some reason, the economy is taking a battering. Is becoming very bad. It's a poor economy performance now. But the stock market is going up and up and up. But now I think they're coming back down, and gold is going up. But property is also going up. So people are wondering, when should I time the market? When should I enter the market? They are always saying this. Everyone I speak to is always asking me, I want to be able to enter at the very bottom just before it breaks out into a into a bull run. Everyone wants to do that. I would love to do that myself, but I don't ever can determine what's going to happen. Right now, the economy and everything is just very disjointed, very distorted. Whatever you read, you don't know whether it's going to go up, going to go down. So what I decided to do is I told myself I will never try to time the market, because if you try to time the market, you're always trying to find the bottom, but always exit at the top. Okay, then you don't know exactly when. It is easy to see back in the past, whereby right now it's 2020. If you look back here, I would, if I can, I want to enter in January 2012, okay, or maybe at the bottom here, 2011, 2012. This is the best time to enter, you know, all right, not at that time when it was at a high of 2007, subprime, okay. I want to enter at the very bottom there. The question to us is this: at that bottom, especially when the economy, when all the property price is dragging down, being dragged down, is going down in the downward pattern, what happens at that point in time? The sentiment, the pressure, the news, the things that's going to influence you is going to be of fear. You're going to be in major fear at that point in time when it's down there. You will think it's going to go drop further. So you will never be able to find the right time to enter. It's easy to say at the back, hey, I would enter then. Okay, but at that point in time, if it's really down there, you will think it's going to go down further because everything is bad, right? Okay, and then why is people getting hurt? Okay, because when it's going up, people think everything's going to go up, everything's going to go up. Like people say gold, right? Gold's going to go up forever, going to go up forever. But then it crashes, okay, then it comes back down, and then goes back up, comes back down. Nobody has a crystal ball. So don't ever try to time the market, guys, okay? Always enter, but when you enter the market, always look at never paying the market value. Okay, if you're trying to pay the market value for the property, you're going to get you might enter into a world of hurt. What you should do at that point in time is enter as little as possible. Okay, so the value might be now at 180. At the point in time, this is the market of Denver, 180, right? Okay, instead of pay 180 at that point, you should pay 60, 70, not 180. Pay as little as possible. That's what you should do. Never try to enter at the market value. Enter at a lot lower than market value, so you have a buffer. Okay, and that's the key here, everyone. Always look to buy at the bottom as little as possible. Don't try to go and find a property thinking it will appreciate 30% in 2 months, and then take a bank loan and then buy the property out. Okay, and then you're in a loan, and then the property crash, and then the bank's going to foreclose on you. You lose everything. You don't want to do it like that. All right, this is never something I've ever done. In fact, we've never paid market value for the property. You see at the graph that the lines are all showing market value for the market, okay, for the particular city. Okay, that's not what we do. We always pay lesser at that point in time. Okay, so this is what I will advise you. Always look to enter at that bottom then. All right, so now let me go and explain to you some of the 17 criteria to a successful, profitable property investment. So number 1, okay, is good government economic policy. This is number 1. I am always looking at ensuring I invest in a city or county where the government is encouraging companies to come in, to set up business there, to set up their factory or their plant or the manufacturing hub or whatever over there, and then give jobs to the population. So when government is encouraging companies to come in, what happens is jobs get stolen because the companies will need people to work. So like example, we entered Newberry. Many people have never heard of the county of Newberry, but there's only 2 Samsung plants in the US, and the main one is in Newberry, South Carolina. Okay, and that's a fact. So Newberry, South Carolina, so they hire a lot of people there, and the Samsung plant is a major employer there. Okay, and then they have a lot of jobs, and then population will also naturally grow because they want to move to an area where there are jobs. Okay, so these are the first 3. Okay, good government economic policy, jobs growth, population growth. And then you look at the neighborhood and see whether the neighborhood is a good neighborhood or not a good neighborhood, whether it's a safe neighborhood or not. Then you look at the estimated market and rent value. So you look at how much does the property cost, how much can the property value add, what's the rent value that you can get for this property. Then you look at the description of the property, whether it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, is there a swimming pool, is there a garage, is it double story, single story, okay? And then you check out the crime rate of the area. Is it a high crime area, low crime area? Is there a good school? Is it a good school district? Whether a school district, is it something whereby parents want to send their kids there to study because they're producing a lot of good students? Okay, You can check all the school rating, crime rate, all online. And then at the same time, the area need to support your numbers. You want to see what kind of income these people earning when they live there, okay, in the locality. From there, you will know how much rent can they afford, or how much loan can they afford to take from the bank, or if they were to rent with you, either way. Okay, so these are affordability questions as well that you will check. And then from then you move on to the next stage to determine profitability. So you need to look at that particular property you want to bid for or you want to buy. Look at similar properties around the area that just sold. So you decide, okay, how much is now the value of your property? Because similar properties sold for this much. So now you have a good gauge of what your property is in terms of value. Now you can also look at the rental transaction in the area. Okay, what kind of rental transaction is going on, and how much does it cost to repair the property, rehab price, and then you can determine then with all these numbers what is your maximum purchase price or bidding price. The maximum, you should not go beyond that. You need to check that, and then from then you check the rental rates, sale profits of the property, so that you have an idea of how much rental you can get, or if you to sell off the property, what kind of profit you can get if you to flip. Okay, so these are all the numbers. These are all the things you will churn out online, put them into a spreadsheet, and do all this. I will teach you all this during the workshop, how this is done beautifully, so that you know this property, this is what it looks like. You can do this in India. You don't even need to fly into the US. Okay, and then that's not all. That's just stage one done. Okay, online research settled for all the properties. Collect all the address, give the address to a scout on the ground. The scout will drive to the property, take picture, give you a verbal report or written report of the property with video and pictures taken of the property. If you can enter the interior, even better. Okay, so from then you receive this feedback, relook at the numbers, readjust the figures. If it costs more money to repair, readjust it higher or lower, up to you. Okay, depends on the feedback that you get or the report. Then from then you decide, okay, what is now my new maximum bidding price or purchase price, and then you can determine whether you can sell it off profitably or not. Okay, so this is just a sample research process that we go through on a regular basis. Noble goes through on a regular basis because we have all this data, and from then on we have people that works on the ground, and from there we decide, okay, how much is the maximum, how much capital we have, and then we enter and bid in the market. So that's why we're able to pay everything at just 20% of the market value, because we stick to our guns, we stick to our principles of how we buy property, and we are able to buy them cheap because of the principle we stick by. Okay, I want to show you a quick video of a learning journey whereby all our investors join us, not all, a lot of investors join us in Houston last November, whereby we had investors from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam join us during our time here in Houston. So we were going through a couple of properties and we even bought one of it. Let's take a look at this video. All right, I'm not going to bore you with all the video, but that was a video, and the last video with the one, the brick, the house, we bought that property. Okay, and we bought it not too bad. It was quite a good buy. It was really fixed up. So we paid a bit of a premium for it. This was the property that we bought for, and this property is now on Airbnb. So we rent it out on Airbnb, so our investors can use this property and have Airbnb income. Not bad. The income is quite good. So about $350 a night, $350 USD a night. Go into your math, how much we can earn from this particular property. So we paid about $270,000 for this property, about $285,000 in total expense, including furnishing expense, all the furniture and all that. And the total projected Airbnb income, $45,000. That's the projected Airbnb income, about 15.79% Airbnb ROI. So I look at this property like, okay, not too bad. I had my property manager and my business partner Chris on the ground helping us with managing the property, and it was quite fun. Where we had guests checks in and then checks out. Some of them asking for a swimming pool. So we were even putting a above ground pool at the backyard of this house, so that the guests can go in and then enjoy the pool on their own. So right now in summer, it's quite hot. So this is an example of the some of the bookings that we got. Okay, 1115 USD, the booking that we can potentially get. This was 1118 for 3 nights. This is for 4 nights. The bottom for 4 nights. This is for 3 nights for 897 USD. This is for 4 nights for $1,115, and for 3 nights for $1,334. So you see the amount. This is July. Okay, recently, quite recent. So I feel that you can make a lot of money from Airbnb if you know the right place and where to go and buy this property. Okay, so that's something else we can assist you as well. All right, and because Airbnb is seeing a search, so this is something definitely for you to consider. All right, so that's step 2. Step 2 settled, done. Okay, how do we 10x your figures? By ensuring you buy properties cheap, fix them up, sell off or rent it out, and then you earn returns beyond what you can get from the bank. Okay, that's secret 2. Secret 3 is how do you start? There are just 7 simple steps for you to start. Okay, 7 simple steps, but not exactly very simple. Step number 1, register your business entity in the right US state. There are many states in the US that you should use. Okay, you must find the right US state to invest your property. Step number 2 is to get a US bank account. This is important. You must get a US bank account, whereby your business must have an account to operate from. And sometimes you can apply for them online, but most of the time, no, you will have to walk into the branch. You work with us, we are able to help set up your bank account for you, okay? But it requires only bank approval, so it's up to them whether they want to approve you or not, okay? But we are usually able to assist in this case. We can apply the bank account online for you. Then, number 3, we have to find the right property. You do all the research, like what we did earlier, the 17 criteria, that must be done before you buy anything. You need to spot the right property for yourself. Then step number 4, buy the property, either auction or wholesaler, either one. Okay, acquire the property straight away, then rehab the property. There are probably some either light rehab or major remodeling project. It depends on what you buy. Okay, most of the time, if it's a flip, it's a major project. If it's a rent, usually it's very light rehab. And then you sell or rent the property, or whereby you are able to get sales proceeds or from the flip or monthly cash flow. It's up to your strategy. What you wish to do is up to you. And then you rinse and repeat from step 3. Okay, so this is the 7 simple steps. How many of you think it's simple? I believe most of you will feel that this is insane. How am I supposed to do this all by myself? I cannot. I need to learn how to do this first. I need to be able to understand how to find where to find the data and all this. This is important for me. I need to decide, okay, what kind of property to look for, what kind of data to look at. So this is where, with your permission, I'm going to explain to you how the research, the workshop will work. Okay, so if you just stay throughout, just a few more minutes, I will explain how this is done. Okay, so you need 3 things to be able to succeed in this business. Number 1, you need time. Time is important. Okay, if you don't set aside time to be able to do this successfully, most of the time you might fail, because this is requiring time to invest and you need time. The first area that you have to invest in is education. You need to educate yourself first. That's the part where I'm trying to emphasize. You must educate yourself first. Then you must have the capital to start investing. Without the capital, it is tough to invest, right? I would suggest about 5,000 USD you can start with, okay? But there are sometimes cases where we're able to help someone with a lower amount or best someone with a higher amount or whatever amount they wish to invest. It's up to you. Okay, so it's whether you have a high amount or a low amount, we're able to work with other investors within Noble Sky to help you acquire the property. And then experience. You might have time and capital, but if you don't have the experience and you go in blind, you go in on your own without a mentor or an expert to guide your hand, hold your hands, you're going to spend a lot of money paying for the experience, paying for the mistakes that you might commit. So I don't want any of you to be committing a mistake, right? Because I've committed a lot of them and I paid through my nose for all those mistakes. So I don't want you to pay the same thing. Let's learn from what I've gone through and then just carry on and make the money as fast as possible, like what other investors have done so far. Okay, and I've worked with other investors in the US. I've been building my A team. So one of them is Mr. Chris Budin. I've been working with him since 2014, in fact. And he has 14 years of real estate experience. He's a licensed realtor in Texas. Okay, he specialized in the luxury market, anything property more than $2 billion. He specialized in wholesaling of properties to cash buyers, meaning if I buy the property which is a very, very distressed property from the auction, I don't even have to put any money to fix up the property. I just sell off the same property to someone else at about 10-20% profit. just make the cash back as fast as possible. Okay. Then he asked, the other thing that he specializes in is Airbnb and other short-term stay, because he owns a couple other in Houston, and he helps manage the one that you just saw earlier, the big brick house. And he's telling me we need to start investing in storage unit and apartment complex, which is the next step for Noble Sky. So this is one of the gentlemen that will be working with you, working with myself, work with us on a regular basis. And he's also one of my trainers. He can also help train on things like Airbnb and all that in the US. And Mr. Ray Dias is our main key person on the ground, who is a major contractor. In fact, he's also from India. Okay, but he has lived in the US all his life now, and he has 40 years of real estate experience, specialized in rehab in any residential property in the US. Okay, and I count him as a mentor, as a father figure, as a friend, whereby we can count on him a lot to look at the property and tell us exactly what needs to be done for the property, because he has the experience to get it done. Okay, and his main experience is, his main specialty is in commercial and hotels. So he used to buy a lot of hotels and he sold them off. And then recently now he's been telling me he's on the lookout for more hotels, because a lot of hotels went underbelly because of COVID-19. So he's looking at a couple of hotels for himself, but he's able to buy them really cheap right now and be able to just get the property, buy the hotel really cheap, and then fix it up and then hold it for a couple of years and then refinance and then get his money out and then get the property productive again and start paying off the loan from the bank that he will refinance at that point in time. So this is some of the things he's teaching me. Okay, his own personal deal is as high as $67 million US. Personal deal, not even a group deal, his own personal one. So Ray Dias is he's someone that we work with very, very much. So he's one of my other A team, and there's other people on the ground that I'm not going to explain who they are to you, but it takes a long time. So these are just some of the two main persons that we work with currently. And I've gone through this earlier about Noble Sky International, about who we are. Okay, and we are a legit company. This is not a scam. This is not multi-level marketing. This is not trying to show you how to invest in Forex or in options or no, none. This is showing you how to run a business in the US that you own 100%. We will show you how this is done, how to do research for the property. Okay, and it's very legitimate. You will discover and learn how this is done for yourself in a particular workshop that I'm going to explain soon. Okay, so the workshop that I'm talking about here is called Rescue 2.0. Yeah, we call it US Real Estate Secrets Uncovered, Rescue 2.0. In this particular workshop, okay, you're going to learn tremendous thing. I paid through my nose about 20,000 USD and much more over many years of experience. And I'm going to be teaching you everything to you as much as possible over 2 days, plus whatever length of time you remain with us. Okay, one of the main things you will learn is how to own property in the US paying less than 20% of the market value without using any loans. That's one of the main things you learn. The very main thing, on the main topic during the workshop will mainly be this. Okay, how to buy properties at 20% or less of the market value, okay, without using any form of loans. And then how do we use the internet to buy this property? You don't even have to fly into America, guys. There's no need to travel to the US. It's not even needed. Everything can be done for you online. So this is the second part that you will learn. And then how you sell these properties at a minimum of 30% profits. Okay, 30% profit. You can buy them cheap and then sell them at 30% profit. You make your money work a lot harder and faster for yourself. So that's another thing that we do. And then how we can rent this property at a minimum of 10% rental yield. 10% minimum. If you can make a lot more than that, then maybe you should look at renting out at minimum 15% or more, or even 20%. Okay, but usually between 10 to 20% rental yield is a good number. Okay, depends on the area. You can get a higher rental yield, or a very popular area, your yield might be lower, but then you have higher appreciation. Okay, so there might be some trade-off. I will teach you all this during the workshop. Okay, so all this you will see is a value of 20,000 US. In fact, I will teach you more than that. I can't even find the script to write everything down. You will see so many things that you say, wow, I'm going to learn all this. Yes, because I have all the experience to give to you. Okay, this was what I paid for, and I am taking in all this info, all this experience, because I paid for personal coaching. That's why I paid so much for it. Okay, but when I run my workshop, I didn't charge people $20,000 US. That's not what I charge to someone who attend my workshop. Usually they pay about 2,000 USD. That's what they pay for. When they come to my class in person, when we sit down, it's about 2,000 USD that they pay for, whereby they learn how this is done. And then after that, we work together. Okay, so 2,000 USD, this is something that I transfer the knowledge as much as I can. I transfer and give and give and give. Okay, and now this time, we want to open up and explain how this is done for you, people of India, okay, without needing to come to a workshop. We run everything on Zoom online. Okay, so it's going to be even more affordable for you. Okay, it's going to be ridiculous. Some of you might be scratching your head wondering, is this even possible? But my thing is this: it's not that expensive. Okay, it's just 47 USD. All right, guys, just 47 USD for you to learn this on your own. It is a special number that Samit told me. Let's offer them at 47 USD. First ever in India, learning about US real estate investment for yourself. It's such a entry level amount, and I will teach you everything that I teach during the 2000 USD class in this 47 USD workshop on Zoom. Okay, if I can fly into India and run this workshop, I would, in a heartbeat, bring my entire team there. But because the borders are closed, unfortunately, we cannot. But if we wait for the borders to reopen, some of you might miss out on what are some of the opportunities in the US. So we don't want that to happen. So we want you to be able to experience this fast and get and be able to capitalize on what's happening in the US right now. Okay, a lot of things are happening. I share a lot of knowledge and tips during my event. So come down for this workshop, register for it. I will give you all the value I learned over 20,000 from my private mentoring during my workshop that I teach for 2,000 US dollars. People pay me 2,000 USD for the workshop. I will teach all of this in the same workshop that you're going to pay 47 USD for. Okay, so trust me, it's tremendous value, and you will learn a lot of great stuff, something that you've never heard before, and you will even be more intrigued, and you might even be like edging to start getting and start investing after the workshop itself. Okay, so that's all I have for today, and I want to thank each and every one of you for staying throughout this particular workshop and this particular webinar. And I believe if I can see you, I'm very excited to see my entire team is excited to see you as well. So please join us during the event, join us during the webinar. And other than that, this is Rauf here from Noble Sky International signing off. And over back to you, Sam. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Rauf. Before we let you go, can you stay another 5 minutes to answer all the questions?
Definitely, no problem.
Okay, okay, first question. How soon we can fill a tenant for the rental unit?
It depends on whether the property is ready to be to live in. We need this thing called a CP, certificate of occupancy, a CO, sorry, certificate of occupancy. So the moment we get that, and then we should be able to put them in within a month or 2 months maximum.
Okay. Next question. Is real estate investing earlier is easier if I already have a company in US?
Okay, if you have a company in the US, you might be using it for something else. So I don't suggest that you use the same company for real estate investing. You're commingling your activity, so it might be very bad for you when it comes to taxation. So you have just set up a separate one and then dedicate it for real estate purpose.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last question we have tonight. Can I re-attend your online workshop again in future time?
Yes, free of charge. Just let me know. You just tell me if you're a former attendee. You can re-attend as many times as you want, because some people require second or third round to internalize the content.
Okay, great. Once again, on behalf of the customer and Summit, we thanks you today. Insightful sharing.
Thank
tonight.
you.
Okay, so
thank you, Sam. Thank you, Summit. All right, thank you everyone for watching this. I hope to see you during the workshop. Take care. Cheers and good night. Good night.
And ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank you once again. Okay, so okay. Thanks you once again for participant into next section. We truly appreciate your time with us, and we hope you have a good come away with a useful information. We look forward to seeing you at Rauf class soon. So those who wish to come on board, please proceed to the enrollment link as per checkbox. Thank you and good night.